America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you guys for tuning in to another week. We always appreciate it. And as always, all grace and glory just be to the God who made this possible each and every day. Let's get things started. So I wanted to speak to the voters today, which is everyone above the age of 18. And I was thinking to myself, what is it can I say to someone that will encourage them to go to the voter booth? I don't want to encourage you to vote Republican or Democrat, because every Republican that's running the race, I won't vote for. You know, just like there's a lot of Democrats I'm sure other people won't work for as well or vote for as well, because they just don't hit the points that you're looking for. Regardless of the fact that if you're Republican or Democrat or independent, you're looking for to put value behind your vote. Just like when you spend your dollar, you're looking to put power behind your dollar, or you should be. And so I was thinking to myself, what can I say? You know, what is it that I could say to someone to encourage them to go to the voting booth? And then I realized probably nothing. A lot of people have their minds made up for various reasons. And so maybe it's not that I'm supposed to affect this or not affect, influence this election. Maybe I'm supposed to influence the election of 2020, the election of 2022, election of 2026, who knows, or 2030. I think on the terms of why, and why should I go to the voting booth, or why should I vote for this particular person? And the way that you derive your why is to understand your history. That why that's at the end of history. Let's put it like that. Let's understand that why. And the reason that people can skip the voting booth is because they don't know their history. The strongest nations that have ever lived are nations who not only understand and know their history, but understand the symbolism and embrace the symbolism of their history. As you know, I'm a child of God, and I'm always into my scripture. And one of the things that is magnificent, so magnificent about the Bible is that when you look at, and I always want to get this correct, when you look in the gospel, it gives you the lineage of Jesus Christ, which is extremely important, those 28 generations. From Adam to Abraham, Abraham to David to Jesus. When you look at those 28 generations, it's extremely important. Lineage is extremely important because lineage represents history. And so the history of your family is very important. The history of your country is very important. The history of your people is very important, because knowing your history and knowing what your ancestors have went through, know what they fought for you, helps you derive your why, helps you to derive your vision. So if you gave the opportunity for the Israelites to vote back then, you think any of them would have missed a vote? Nah. Not at all. They understood too much about where they came from. When you look at the fact that in the New Testament, they constantly quote the Old Testament. They knew their history and their lineage to the T. That motivated their future. That gave them their why. How many kids right now, age of 18, can give you the Constitution? How many kids right now can tell you 4 lines out of the Declaration of Independence? or the Articles of Confederation? How many black people can tell you what's in the Emancipation Proclamation? How many black people can tell you what sing one old Negro spiritual and wonder why we're lost today? Not just the blacks or the Americans. We have separated the youth from their history. This generation and if you look, I'm 30, I'll be 31 next month. Today's the 31st. So on July 12th, I'll be 31. So if you look at my mother's generation and my generation, this is where we completely start to disconnect from history. And then so this new generation that's coming up, they have no connection with history. And on top of that, and not just because history is not preached in their home, history is not preached in the school. The revisionists have changed so much. I think one of the most foolish things that have occurred in the educational system is what they've done to history. For any youth to appreciate being an American, they have to read the biography of George Washington. They have to. For any African American to understand what they have today in America, they need to read the biography of Harriet Tubman. They need to read the biography of Nat Turner. They need to read the biography of Mr. Washington. They need to oh man. Why do you think that these kids have no appreciation for the things that they have today? Because they don't know their history. They don't have a why. Will they ever have a why? They are being fed things that are they're just without substance. It's nothing to hold on to. It's not a replenishable source. Your why is a source that is so replenishable that every morning that you wake up, your why has woken you up. That's why you wake up. That's a replenishable source. They don't have that. When Martin Luther King woke up every single morning and he knew that he might be murdered, he knew that he might be stoned, he knew that he might be bit by dogs, his why was greater than the pain that he may experience. When George Washington knew that going out he might get frostbite, crossing the rivers or going through the mountains, his why was greater than the frostbite. These young people wake up and they have no why. If your why is just to message on Facebook, if your why is just to get the new pair of Jordans, if your why is just to fornicate or smoke weed or whatever the case may be, that's not lasting. That's not a replenishable source. So when I think about making people go to or influencing people to go to the voting booth, it's kind of hard to influence someone who doesn't have a why. And not just a why to go to the booth. They don't have a why to wake up in the morning because they don't know their history. They don't know their God. They don't know their Savior. They don't know their Moses. That's the difference. In each society, there's always a battle, right? There has to be something you fight for. If you look at South Africa, they had the apartheid. If you look at India, they had colonization. If you look at America, it was slavery for the African Americans, or before that, it was the being emancipated from England. It was always something that was tangible that gave you a why. We don't have those overall overbearing causes anymore. You're not really, people don't look at the war with ISIS or the war in Iraq like they did with the Civil War, what they did with the revolution. When we look at history and what's been going on, and we look at today, what's the battle? What's the true battle? It's not there. People don't see the battle because it's not physically in front of them. You could see apartheid. You could see slavery. You could see the revolution. You could see colonization. You can't see these battles because you know why? That's only half of it. When Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt, that was the first part of the battle. Now, when Joshua took them to Canaan, that was the second part of the battle. I heard someone state they left Egypt, but until Joshua, Egypt hadn't left them. The same thing with the slaves in America. They left, they got out of slavery, but slavery didn't get out of them. And you see that today. That's what they say is still psychological slavery. But that's not just black people, psychological slavery in every race. If you don't wake up with a why, you're not free. You're not free at all. Because the slaves didn't wake up and their why wasn't, oh man, I'm gonna get up this morning so I can serve master. No. I'm gonna get up today because even though I gotta serve master, I gotta take care of my family still. Well, I'm gonna wake up today, I'm gonna fight this revolution, not because I'm gonna be able to receive the benefits of the revolution. No, I won't. But my children's will, or my children's children will. They said in the scripture, it says, blessed is the man who has an inheritance for his children's children. Wow. The slaves had that. They had inheritance for their children's children. It's called freedom. It was physical freedom. Someone stated that Barack Obama should have been the next Joshua, right? He should have taken, Martin Luther King was the one to take them kind of like physically out in a sense. But Barack Obama should have taken African Americans mentally out of slavery with his symbolism of an African American being in the White House. Barack Obama didn't have a why that was bigger than him. Barack Obama got to the point where he could have been Joshua, but he decided he wanted to stay Barack, or Barack, however you want to put it, no disrespect. But he wanted to stay himself. He didn't want to elevate beyond himself and become that symbol of change and hope. He was in a perfect position to do so. Donald Trump has no want to do that. He's not here to be a symbol. He's here to actually be a tangible president, one who makes short-term reforms and puts money in people's pocket and do some military things. And that's no knock to him. He's not a symbol president. He's not the game-changing president. Look at what France is going through. Mr. Macron. He is that symbolism. 38 years old, became president. I thought that was pretty impressive. Young guy. You know, he was in the money markets. He had a little entrepreneur in him. He studied under a philosopher. The guy's quite impressive. But he's a symbol to his people. What he's doing with Station F in Paris, you guys really got to pick up your Forbes magazine. I don't know. Please turn off the TV, pick up Forbes, pick up Bloomberg. You got to stretch your mind. There's so much going on out there. But Mr. Macron, he's that symbol of what it means to go from Moses to Joshua and change people's mind states. And what I mean by that, the entrepreneur in France was seen as a nuisance. It was all about established traditional companies, big companies. The mom and pop was okay, but the entrepreneur who brought disruption, oh man, they didn't like him. And that's been a thing in France for a very long time. And up until recent, they're now switching that. He is now changing the minds of people. Barack Obama was so close to changing the minds of people, but then he decided to still be Barack. We're going to continue this on in the next section. We're going to go to commercial break. This is the Voice of Young America, and we're going to get you to the voting booths with history. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Auto Lens Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Auto Lens Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Autoland Center. I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with the artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete, or check out cafeon46.com.
Tampa Bay homeowners, is grit and grime building up on your home's exterior? How about windows and driveways? For residential pressure washing, call Coyote Cleaning at 228-297-3993. And business owners, we're not leaving you out. Coyote Cleaning can take care of buildings, lots, and equipment, giving your property the professional look customers expect. Call Coyote Cleaning, 228-297-3993, 228-297-3993. Online at coyotecleaningllc.com. That's coyotecleaningllc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin, and thank you guys for coming back in and listening with us. We were talking about getting guys into the voting booth, and the reason why we have such trouble influencing people to do so is because they don't have a why to go into the booth. It would be nice to think that people naturally would have a why, being a statesman of America, but they don't. They don't have that why. Is because they don't know their history. They don't understand the symbolism of George Washington. And we were getting to the point of talking about Mr. Macron in France and how he's changing the minds of the people. You know, I at the very end of the last segment, I talked about how the old establishment frowned so highly upon entrepreneurs that it stifled growth. And then not only on top of that, the laws stifled growth. I mean, wow. The way that France is currently set up, it's for you to be a worker with a lot of benefits. Like they passed this thing like on weeknights and weekends, you don't have to respond to company texts or company emails. You have the right to power down or something like that, right? Entrepreneurs can't power down. I'm an entrepreneur. If I powered down, I would miss opportunities. If you're a stockbroker and you power it down and the market's still up, not even the market's still up. If you are asleep at 4 o'clock and you don't understand the market's already opened in China and what has happened, and you wake up at 6, you know how much money you could have lost? You can't power down in this type of economy because the economy is 24 hours. So with that being said, it goes back to the why. The why of Mr. Macron to come in and change things with his new type of government. Because does he understand how great France used to be? I don't know. But he does see the gap between the American progress and the French progress. Now, make no mistake, I don't believe at any point France wants to replicate America at all. No. But they do want to pick. They want to pick the things that make their economy great and transfer them over. But do they want to pick up the violence? Nope. Do they want to pick up the lack of family? Nope. Do they want to pick up the polarization that we have so greatly in our news media? I doubt it. The why of going to the polls begins in education. It begins in the schools. It begins in the home. If I were president today, I would sign an executive order that on July 4th, every single year, the only thing that is shown on TV is history. Every single station, radio station, internet station, everything is going to show history. It's going to give you documentaries on George Washington, the first several conventions that they put together, congressional conventions. It's going to tell you about the revolution. It's going to actually give you the knowledge that you need to find your why as a citizen. That should be an executive order. That on Independence Day, we truly pay respect to what we have here. You can't watch any type of movie. All you are going to see is history on every single, I don't care how many channels there are. I don't care if you pay for premium channels. The greatest countries, the greatest civilizations are those who have a why, because they haven't detached themselves from their history. Do you understand that in certain countries that people would rather be oppressed by their leader than to accept any type of foreign aid from America just because of the history of their people? It's so deeply rooted. And not to say it's right or whatever the case may be, but their history is so deeply rooted into their hearts that they'd rather suffer at the hands of a dictator than to receive any type of benefits from a democracy. They may not like each other, but when it comes to any type of outsiders, gaijins, oh man, they're not down with that. We don't have that type of loyalty here. We don't know how. We don't know our whys. Like, people could tell you, oh yeah, I know about what the revolution was about. I know. No, you don't. If you knew what the revolution was truly about, you'd be in that voting booth. If young African American males knew the story of Nat Turner, if they knew about the how many deaths occurred in those slave ships back in the 1200s, 1300s, 1400s, coming from Africa to the Bahamas, then being transported to the States, oh man, would they be readers? Yes. Would they be leaders? Yes. Would they be great fathers? Yes. If they knew intimately what Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, if the black women of today embodied the why of Harriet Tubman when she made it to the North and said, I'm going to go back because my why is greater than my own freedom. People, you can't wake up every day and live the way you live and say you understand the why of America. Or you understand the why. Do you understand what Martin Luther King, Malcolm X had to go through? You know what their families had to go through? Do you know what Mahatma Gandhi's wife had to go through? Do you understand that Nelson Mandela did not have to sacrifice his 27 years in prison? He didn't. He could have kept teaching. He could have kept being a lawyer. He could have said, it's okay. Apartheid, yeah, it's bad, but I want to be comfortable. That's the why. Tell me right now, the reason why you won't go to the voting booth First, you don't understand your why. You don't understand the why of the country. And second, we have no more leaders. I spoke about this several weeks ago. Did you just hear what I said about Nelson Mandela? Did you hear what I said about Mahatma Gandhi, Malcolm X, Nat Turner, Sojourner Truth? Would you ever in your life relate the why of Harriet Tubman and compare that to the why of Hillary Clinton or Elizabeth Warren? No, you wouldn't put them on the same platform. So why would you vote for them? Would you put the why of Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, Barack Obama? Would you put those on the same level as Mahatma Gandhi? Why you're not going to the voting booth is because you don't know your why and you don't have a leader. Point blank, period. People are so used to fighting for things that are tangible. So now you're not fighting physical oppression. Oh man, we're good now. We're not fighting starvation. Oh, we're good now. We're not really fighting racism on the same level. We're good now. Oh, but there always has to be a fight. So what is the fight, right? The fight that you've been told is no longer about food. It's no longer about racism. It's no longer about freedom. The fight that you're fighting now, it's about the almighty dollar. If you listen to NT, and did you hear that slang, NT? If you listen to NT1 in Washington today, what are they going to tell you the fight is? Dollar bills. Dollar bills. If any time your fight becomes money, you guys got a problem. If you notice, when the Pilgrims came over to America, they weren't fighting about money. They just wanted a little bit of freedom. The pride of the king. Oh man, America would be different if the king's pride wasn't even at the level it was. Just like the Egyptians. The pride of the king was so much, man. You got to know your history, right? I'm talking about history. You don't know your why, so now someone's giving you a why. They're giving you a why. The why is the dollar bill. You don't have enough. You don't have enough laptops. You don't have enough TVs. You don't have enough tennis shoes. You don't have enough cars. You don't. That's what and you wonder why you're losing. You wonder why things aren't changing in your life. You wonder why the country is still the same. You wonder what are your kids fighting for? What do your kids wake up for? Okay, how about that? I read a quote in Forbes magazine in the latest issue. It was thoughts on leadership. And it's on my Facebook. It's on the VOYA's Facebook. I'm sorry. I never use Facebook. Let me take that back. I apologize, guys. It's on my Twitter and my Instagram. It says, if you show me the heroes the youth of your country look up to, I will tell you the future of your country. Who are the heroes to the youth? Kim Kardashian, LeBron James. Who else? No political leaders are heroes right now. Nope. No one is considered a hero in Washington. Not even DT. Who's the heroes? Lil Wayne? Drizzy? Young Dolph or Young Yachty or Taylor Swift? Justin Bieber? Those are heroes? How are they heroes? What did they do? They dunked the ball? They made a song? That's a hero? You know, if you listen to Bob Marley will always be so powerful, not just because it's reggae. Bob Marley was fighting political oppression in his music. Did you know Bob Marley was promoting family and love in his music? Bob Marley transcends his time because what he represented, he was a hero to his people. Tell me who's fighting oppression through their music right now. Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, I thought so. The reason why you won't be in the voting booth come this August or this November is because you don't have a why. So I'm here to give you your why today. Your why is you're an American. You want to keep being American. So I'm going to give you a sense of urgency because people wait till there's riot in the streets to see then it's a sense of urgency, right? But look at all the greatest civilizations. They failed because they imploded, not exploded. They imploded. What do you think is going to happen to America? We're going to implode. And by the time the average American realizes how close the implosion is, it's going to be too late. That's why we have to vote in leaders today. We have to get away from the Elizabeth Warrens. We have to get away from the Hillary Clintons, get more Sojourner Truths or Joan of Arcs. We have to get away from the Barack Obamas and the Donald Trumps. And we need to bring in the Mahatma Gandhis and the Nelson Mandelas. If you go into the voting booth this year and you vote for a Barack Obama over a Mahatma Gandhi, you don't love your kids. You don't even love your grandkids. If you go into the booth and you vote for Elizabeth Warren instead of a Joan of Arc or Nikki Haley instead of a Sojourner Truth or Harriet Tubman or whatever, you don't love your kids very much. You don't love your grandkids very much. Not only do people need to know their history, they need to have a leader that embodies the symbolism of growth. The next Moses of America has already been born. He's already been born. He just hasn't been exposed. I hope I get to see him and be around him. I tell you that much. I'm ready to die for my country. Not by ISIS or anything like that. Die to my own everything to make you guys empowered. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the voice of young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Ladies of Tampa Bay, are you looking for a whole new hairstyle or just want to take your current look from good to glamorous? It's time to call Tiffany. Whether it's highlights, cut, color, curls, or a wedding or special occasion, Tiffany will make your mess a masterpiece. And don't worry, guys, she does men's cuts too. Tiffany's located in North St. Pete. For an appointment, click on tiffdoeshair.com. That's tiffdoeshair.com or call 727-280-3098. tiffdoeshair.com.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-516-6851. 813-516-6851.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin, and thank you guys for being listening. I know we did things a little bit different this week, but it's important to do so. You know, I made this statement before, is that if you were looking for some type of flash and bang type of show where I scream about what Donald Trump said this week, or if I scream about what Nancy Pelosi was wearing, or if her false teeth fell out or something like that, you're going to be highly disappointed. That's just not who I am. I don't do it in my personal life. I definitely won't bring it to the show. So if I disappointed you, well, it says a lot about you, not me. To continue on, we were talking about what the problem is and why we can't get people into the voting booth. So I have the solution. Learn your history. Next solution. Select a leader. Select the next Joshua of America. Select the next Moses of America. The biggest problem that we have is that we're mentally enslaved to to lack of substance. I guess that's the best way to put it. We're not enslaved to values and virtues. You know why? We don't even train ourselves up in wisdom and virtue, which is the whole purpose of education. To make a child virtuous in character and give him wisdom through knowledge and understanding of things that go on in the society. So that's a failure. So Justin, we can talk about all these things, but when you're going to give us some action steps, right? First action step I already gave to you. I believe that there should be an executive order. No flying out of the country, no flying into the country on Independence Day. That weekend should be a no-fly weekend. Should be a no-fly weekend. It should be we should hold Independence Day in such high esteem. Every store should be closed. You don't need to buy American flags. You don't need to buy anything on Independence Day. You need to pay homage with your life. Just the best way to pay homage to George Washington and those great men in the past is to just learn about them. If you learned about these gentlemen and what they did and what they symbolized, it would increase your why. And that's the best way to pay homage to them, is to increase your why. So when it comes time to step up and be a statesman, you already have it inside of you. And Justin, you talk so abstractly. I know what you're thinking. Like, who is this guy? You know, what does he get his? You know, I'm no scholar based on books and degrees. None of that, and I never will be. I would never go back to school to get another. I don't need any of that. I don't, because my why is I'm only guaranteed the time that I have with the air in my lungs. That's the only thing I'm guaranteed. I could walk out the studio today and be shot dead. I'm not guaranteed anything else. So why am I going to hold punches? Why am I not going to tell the truth? And you know what? Every day I wake up and I try to do the smallest things for people to help them become better. Whether it's helping an old lady push her grocery cart, or giving the guy directions to how to get to somewhere down the street, whatever it is, man. That's it. You're only guaranteed the time that you have, like literally at the moment. Nothing else is guaranteed. So back to the plan. Independence Day, no flying in the country, no flying out of the country. All TV, all programming that's under the FCC, anything that's considered under the FCC is just boom. It's nothing but history. That's it. That's an executive order. The next thing is that it should be mandatory reading each year for each child in each grade to read the biography of a president. I don't care if you have to put into the smallest children's book possible in pre-K. I don't care what you have to do. The story of America is so beautiful. If you went to China, I'm pretty sure most of those guys can tell you about the previous dynasties and how. If you go to Saudi Arabia, do you know that Saudi Arabia did not what they are today? That's only like 80. That's like maybe 60, 70 years of history where they have right now to where they are. And a lot of people think they've moved way too fast in those 70 years, but I can bet you they can tell you their history. Ask any Jew, I bet they can tell you their history. But if you ask an American, most likely they can't. Oh man! If you ask a Christian, the average Christian today can tell you less about the story or the lineage of those in the scripture. But if the average Muslim, the average Jew, the average Buddhist, I bet they can tell you way more. Why is that? Why is that? Just like if you go to another country, someone can tell you more about their country's history than someone can tell you in America. Why? Value. We don't place value on our whys. And that's why we are waking up the way we are. So back to action steps. Every kid, every grade has to read a biography and a history story every single year and write a report. That's outside of their studies. Like all the stuff that you're going to teach them already, keep that stuff. but you need to make sure you're increasing the why of your country. Why do you think that young people don't care about the Constitution? Does anybody notice that? The disconnect between the Constitution and the youth of today? Oh, I was giving you guys time to answer that to yourselves. It's a huge disconnect. So every citizen by the age of 18, actually, if you can memorize Lil Wayne's Squad Up CD, you can memorize the Constitution. So I'm not even going to give you that much credit. By the time you're 13, you should know the Constitution by heart. Wow, Justin, that's a big feat. You know how many Drake songs these kids know? You know how many Miley Cyrus songs these kids know? By the age of 13, you trying to say they can't learn the Constitution? The Bill of Rights? If you go to another country, though, I bet they can, by the age of 13, they can, what is it? In the Jewish culture, I think it's called bar mitzvah. For your bar mitzvah, you have to remember a certain passage out of the Torah, and then you have to speak it at your bar mitzvah. Because you're coming age to be a man. We should have these requirements of our countrymen. Man, I mean, maybe that's far-fetched, right? Maybe I'm asking too much. But back to the action steps. Independence Day, no-fly zone, all history. Kids read books every single year and write reports on presidents and historic events of America. Knowing the Constitution by 13. There's so much more we could do, but I think if we start right there, we change the trajectory of our country. We increase that power that comes with the why and the countryman and the country. That paradigm is going to shift to where young people actually start caring again about the future of America instead of the future of Facebook. So let's start making distinctions right now. Most people spend at least an hour on Facebook every single day, and they spend less than 5 minutes reading at all. Unless they're reading posts. Reading a book is ridiculous. That's why America is on the decline. It's because social media is killing the whys of America. Mass media is killing the whys of America. Even people with good intentions. They have the best intentions, but they have the worst execution. I was speaking to someone recently about the fact that you can find Christian music on the radio, but you can't find any Christian hip hop at all. So those who own Christian music stations don't play Christian hip hop. So guess how can you be trying to reach all of God's children when you don't even try to reach all of God's children? Don't worry, I'll wait. How does that happen? How do you reach all of God's children when you know they don't listen to contemporary Christian music? So if you play contemporary Christian music 24 hours out of the day, what are you trying to do? Only reach white kids? You'll reach maybe a few black kids, maybe a few Hispanic kids. But I like contemporary Christian, but I can only listen to so much. I need some hip hop because that's what I was raised on. So, like I said, those with good intentions, that's not enough. It's your good intentions are not enough. You have to have execution. If you own a Christian music station and you only play contemporary Christian, then your whole purpose is to reach a certain demographic. We have 2 Christian radio stations in the Tampa Bay area. No gospel. The gospel is bought out by a Latino station. And we have no Christian hip hop. So tell me who they're reaching. That's that. And not to call out any stations. I'm glad that you own a station. You're playing Christian music. But let's call it out. You got 91.1. You got 90.5. And you also have 91.5. None of them play hip hop. And then the only, you know who plays gospel music in the Tampa Bay area? The secular station 95.7. They'll play it for 5 hours on a Sunday morning. These things are the truth. You teach American history, but a kid can leave your class and not know this true symbolism of George Washington. You teach American government, but the kids don't understand the true meaning of what happened with the Emancipation Proclamation. You know, in American government, they don't even really teach you the power of the Federal Reserve. Do you understand that? And even in economics, kids do not leave high school understanding the power that has been amalgamated by central banks. But how can you study American history, American government, and economics and not understand the power of the Federal Reserve? Not understand when Nixon in the 70s removed us from the gold standard? How is that possible? I digress, right? This America that we're building is not sustainable because the foundation is built on sand. Because kids no longer have a why outside of themselves. And if you don't have something that's greater than you, oh, that's a problem, brother. It's not sustainable. The human psyche is too flip-floppy to not have a why greater than you. It's not consistent enough. So we're going to spend these last couple minutes talking about really what's going to change things. What's really going to change America? Making fathers great again. That's where it starts from. The leader of our country, the leader of our community, the leader of our home. Fathers. How do women select their husbands or their mates? Their fathers. Whether he was there or not, you still influence the way that the stories she hears about you. You don't understand the power that comes with being a father, to being a leader. This is so huge. Well, how we're going to make America great is we're going to make the fathers great. How are we going to increase the why? How are we going to put people back in the voting booth? How are we going to understand our history? How are we going to understand the symbolism of leadership? Fathers. It's hard for kids to hold other positions of esteem when they don't hold that first and initial position of esteem. If you don't hold your father in esteem, how can you possibly hold President Trump in esteem? How can, if you don't see it exemplified in your home, how can you go out and hold somebody else to that standard? So how do we transfer this how do we cause this paradigm shift in every other aspect of America? Simple. Make fathers great again. Man, Justin, yeah, I think you're giving too much power to the father. Nope. God gave the power to the father. That's the way it works. He is the end all be all. That's the way it works. Your family, it's under the hedge of the father. He is the one that's going to direct all these paths. If we want to change America for the better, make fathers great again. Women start respecting husbands again. Children start following their fathers again. Fathers stay home and be man of integrity, man of character. Once we have fathers being men of character, being men of God, being countrymen, it will spill over with the women, with the children, with the community, with the country. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. This is Justin Austin, the voice of Young America. We appreciate you guys listening in. We thank God for the opportunity. We'll see you next week. God bless you.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for the Voice of Young America here on AM 860. The Answer.